through the magic of the Cybernet Space Cube, the computer-enhanced podcast of the future, Transformers Slag Podcast. What's up, everybody? How we all doing this Saturday night? It's the Transformers Slag Podcast on our live stream main event. Your host, Protoman. I'm the face that runs this place. I'm the voice you hear Monday to Friday, and it is Saturday. And it is the last Saturday live stream for the next week or so. We'll probably do a Sunday live stream next week from TFcon Live, but we'll cover that later tonight. How we all doing? It's been quite an interesting week of Transformers. We have a lot of news to cover, a lot of both business side of things, rumors, different reveals, pre-orders. We lost a pillar of the community, so we'll give a little bit of a shout out and a remembrance to him too. And we also have a TFcon Toronto exclusive reveal, as well as promised, for the Patreon people, a little Patreon bonus exclusive too to get. Because I always want to say thank you to those who support us and everything that we do. We are easily, without a doubt, the number one Transformer podcast in the world because of you guys. And we always want to give back somehow. So we have a little something for you guys too. So let's get into it. Got a lot to cover. It's going to be a fun next 2 hours or so, and I hope you will be joining me for it. First of all, who's in the chat today? Let's take a look. We got Brainstorm 2002. We got Joshua Nativio. Nice to see you, Joshua. His new face. Got Patrick Brown. Big Bot Bodega is one of my patrons. Star Warrior, one of my patrons. The Twins Corner, going to be seeing them next week, one of my patrons. We got Rooted Mac. What's up? T-Formers 2002, Double Dipper, also a patron. Fawn Hart, how you doing? Link CW, one of my patrons. Will Murphy, James, how you doing? Ashnut, always good to see you. Bigum, who else? YlagY, other people are rolling in right now. Mike Prime 21. What's up? So, let's get into the news. We've got some updates here and there, little things, and then we'll talk about Con weekend, what's going to be happening, where you could find me, some of the exclusives we're going to be revealing tonight. So you get to see it here first. And yeah. So first, let's start with the Synergenex stuff. So we finally got our full stock photo images of the Bazara Convoy, aka Bazara Prime, Macross 7 Transformers 30th, 40th anniversary crossover. It's a mouthful. Looks amazing. I love Macross 7, amazing music, amazing characters. One of the very first, I want to say Gunpla, because before I built my very first Gunpla kit, I actually built a Macross 7 kit first. My very first Gunpla anything, if you want to call it that. Let's call it robot model kits. Was a Macross 7 kit. And I have a lot of nostalgia for this series. Gosh, what was it, 94? Was it 94? Gosh, oh my goodness, when I built that kit. But love this series. This Optimus looks cool. It looks like it's a fusion of a bunch of things, though. I know they call it Bazara Prime, and we're supposed to say this is Optimus, but there's a little bit of Star Saber here. There's a little bit of Rodimus Convoy, aka Rodimus Prime. There's a little bit of Optimus there. There's a lot of stuff going on. You could even say a little bit of Blaster, if you want to say that too. But still looks great. I dig it. It's very cool. So the price on this guy after exchange is about $125 as of this recording. Exchange obviously goes up and down from the yen to the USD. And this is planned for spring of 2026, potentially March or April, maybe May. They don't have an exact date on Amazon, but let's just say spring of 2026. And looks awesome. 3 different faces. It's got the Matrix guitar, the blaster, the sound stage, looking great. Really like how it looks. Really dig it. This is something that, if you've been in the Transformer fandom as long as I have, we know about the Robotech Macross connection and all the craziness that's going on with that for years and years, and how Macross and Robotech could not even be in the same room, and that's why Jetfire was the way he was with Skyfire. And now these two are playing in the same sandbox together. So I hope to see more of this. I hope to see a lot more of this, in all honesty. We got 2 super chats. Brainstorm 2002 with a $5 super chat. Heyo, waiting for my MPG God Bomber shipped. I've been hearing some weird things though, Brainstorm. I've been hearing that the QC is weird on it. I hope that's not true because I love my Master Force. So, what I suggest, Brainstorm, before you mess with your God Bomber, do a bit of a Reddit and a TFW 2005 forum search. People have been talking about QC issues. So I don't want you to have, I always call it the Masterpiece Hound experience, which is Masterpiece Hound was a nightmare for some people to transform raw dogging. So definitely look into that, brother. But hey, it's really cool that you're getting it. I know I'm going to be careful with mine when it comes because I ordered mine from Ami Ami, and they're always a little slower, but I'm excited about it. Rudy Mac, thank you for the super chat. Kudos to the Transformers finance this week. Appreciate the tariff talks. Oh, we're going to talk about it more, Rudy. That's for sure. Because there was little updates here and there, and it's a shame because, people always think that like I'm talking about it from a political stance. But I'm going to say this again, guys, and this is why I always keep this slide. My friends, I am Canadian. I don't take sides with this. I just look at the business side. That's it. So you don't like your orange man or you love your orange man. I don't care. It's none of my business. I don't care about that. I like hockey, poutine. Actually, I'll show you guys. Here's a little something I got this week. I was literally at Walmart just shopping and I saw this and I couldn't resist. So they had these like souvenir patches. Like, so if you here, let me look at what they wrote at the bottom here. So it's like tourist edition for Montreal. Look what's on Montreal. Look what is on Montreal's patch. Poutine and smoked meat. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, I shouldn't have thrown it. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, it's okay. So that's my life. That's all that matters. Poutine, hockey, Montreal bagels, Transformers. That's all that matters. I'm not going to worry about politics. Life is too short to worry about that stuff, especially something you can't control. Either way, not going to get into it. But yeah, we'll definitely be talking more about it later today. We definitely will. Damn right, looks delicious, Ninjatron. Um, then of course, we also have the NFL stuff that is going on here. So we've seen already some of the stock images, but we didn't get to see essentially the packaging designs. And this is the first time that we've seen it. And the rumor that was going on for a while is that we're going to be getting all the teams. So when I heard that, I was like, man, that is a huge undertaking for them to do that. But, now that we've seen the sculpts, there's two different toolings. So I guess if they just milk those two toolings like Seeker style, they could pull it off. And not to mention now looking at the packaging has a very uniform style to it. I mean, look at that empty space at the front of the card back, especially at the top. You could fill that in with anything. So, they just changed the tint depending on the team. They just changed the logos and stuff. It's very simple to just flip it around and do that. So this one here, according to what Amazon has, the pre-orders are right now. These are going to be $24.99, so pretty much deluxe classes. I'm pretty sure somewhere they said the scale of these. They're probably like 5 to 6 inches. And so I'm going to assume a deluxe class with a little football, which is kind of cool. And these are planned for December 15th, 2025, just before the holidays. So I dig it. I think they look cool. I want my 49ers. Maybe I'll get the Giants when that one happens. Green Bay Packers, just because it's Tundra Prime. So that kind of speaks to me a little bit. But yeah, pretty cool too. But we still have more of the collab crossover reveals before this year is up. We still have 2 more. We have He-Man and the Masters of the Universe and Batman still to be revealed. So stay tuned for that here on the podcast. We'll definitely have that. And then we got the return of movie masterpieces. This comes courtesy from the reliable source from the Weibo Chinese message boards of Cybertron International, as his name translates here. And apparently the movie masterpieces are making a return. Not that they were really gone for long, but they were conspicuously absent for the first time in 15 years, which is kind of wild when you think about it. We've always had minimum of 2 movie masterpieces a year since about 2010. And this was the first time outside of during the COVID era, which is a different story. And even then, we still had 1 every single year with the COVID era. But this is the first time that we've had 0 so far. I mean, the first The first 6 months of the year, so far, it's been nothing. No teasers, no nothing. We had Brawl in late 2024, and that was it. So it's something where it's good to see that it's still alive and kicking. Some people were speculating, oh, because of the failures of Rise of the Beast and Transformers 1, those would have been future movie masterpieces. That's a possibility, but I'd have to talk to someone at Hasbro or Takara to reconfirm something like that. But I don't think they would have canceled something outright either if the tooling was already done. They just roll the dice on it. So either way, I still think it looks great. I'm excited for Sideswipe. He's someone that all of his figures have been awesome, in my opinion. Even his original Revenge of the Fallen Deluxe was pretty awesome. Even actually, you know what? His Human Alliance one needed work, but then again, it had to have that Tyrese figure and it had to have that seat and everything. But most of his figures have been great. His studio series is pretty fantastic. So I'm pretty sure they're just going to look at the studio series, go, how can we crunch this down a little more? And just make sure he stands up because he's got some crazy wheel feet. So as long as he stands up for a high end figure, he'll be good. So dig that one. Very cool. Hopefully, we'll see some more movie masterpieces. Clearly, we're going into the Revenge of the Fallen era now of movie masterpieces, more so than just like repaints like Starscream or something. So stay tuned and we'll definitely have more. But he wasn't done yet because Cybertron International also mentioned that we're going to be getting now also another missing link, and it's that of, well, a straight up repaint of Missing Link Convoy. Now, we don't know if it's the one that's going to come with the trailer or without, but based on the bottom right photo here, which is the original JAFCon 2000 Black Convoy exclusive back in the day, he came with a trailer. So if they want to stay true to the very first Black Convoy we ever got, exactly 6 months before Black Convoy appeared on Car Robots, Robots in the Skies, aka Scourge, he'll come with the trailer. That's what I imagine. And, Sentinel Prime came with the trailer, the Missing Link Sentinel Prime. So I imagine they're just going to use that mold with the trailer over and over and get the investment tooling out of it. And heck, it's a black repaint of Convoy. They always sell well. They're always going to do incredibly well. The only worry that I have is historically, a lot of these black repaints are either store exclusives, con exclusives, event exclusives. Heck, the Sentinel Prime that we got from Missing Link was also an event exclusive. So that's the only worry I have, is if this thing is going to be difficult to get. That's the only problem. But otherwise, very excited about it. I love Missing Link. I've been picking up everything of it thus far, so I don't think I'm going to stop now. And it speaks to me. I understand how some people who maybe didn't grow up with G1 and don't have a connection with it, totally get it. Blocky Transformer dudes, you like more of your sleek designs. I get it. But for me, I think it's really cool. I think it's awesome. It's an interesting vibe that I enjoy. So check that out. And then there's others that we potentially might get because we did our little story time with Proto Man. I believe it was Thursday we did it, and we covered the RC manga story in the Transformers Generation Guidebook. Again, shout out to Michael Koo who provided us with the scans. And some potentials that are here, like the Ultra Magnus, the Deerstalker, the Galvatron, the Hubcap, the Huffer. We might get a Huffer even, and of course the Mini Spies, which I forget who it was, but shout out to them. They pointed out that all of the Mini Spies and Deerstalker, the drone unit, or what was the drone unit for Ultra Magnus, are all named after Sherlock Holmes characters, apparently. So I didn't know that. Never read Sherlock Holmes. So but yeah, so that's pretty cool. Little deep cut there. And probably how they get away with the name Kiro Face in a lot of ways. But yeah, very, very cool. So we'll see what pops with that one. Brainstorm 2002 with the YouTube member question. I'm more excited for Missing Link Maris than anything. Maris? Maybe. Oh, Magnus. Excuse me. I read that wrong. Sorry, I looked at the other screen. Magnus. Well, yeah, the Missing Link Magnus is another one too, where it's like, that's going to be pretty crazy because, I mean, the way that I think of it, like anyone who's owned the original Ultra Magnus toy, like he doesn't even have legs. He just has this solid block that we call legs. He's just a peg. I mean, the only like articulation he has is pretty much those shoulders and elbows, and that's mostly due to the transformation. And I guess you could count the wrists just because of the fists and how they're removable. But so very, very cool. But yeah, So very cool. Again, if I had to pick one out of these to be made into a missing link personally, um, I would want the mini spies only because we've gotten zero of the mini spies since 1985. So, and it would be cool because, one of them now is female, which is Blanche Warrior, as she's called. It's the white one in the middle. She was the FX1 car. So very cool that they're doing this. So I hope that we get it. I hope it's very cool. Very, very cool. And last but not least, for at least of the primary news, we have the tariff stuff. So if you guys caught my segment a few days ago, there has been a update and an agreement with Vietnam about the tariffs. Now again, reminder to Transformer fans: ignore the discount sticker on the back. Transformers are made in Vietnam. You know, they are assembled in Vietnam. They are designed and engineered in Hasbro East Coast, aka Rhode Island, and Japan, specifically Takara Tomy. It is a combination of two worlds, and then those designs are turned into toolings or molds, and those toolings or molds are produced, planned, engineered, and put together, assembled, painted, everything like that in Vietnam. And that's that, and they've been doing that since 2015. And with the tariffs that were going on, we had this thing that it's like, oh my God, like they're going to ask crazy prices for the tariffs. And that's going to affect the toy industry, not just Hasbro, but a majority of the toy industry, because a lot of the toy industry still do their stuff in Vietnam. Some still do it in China because China still has a really good infrastructure and skilled workers there. I mean, there's a whole different conversation when it comes to that because China is still way ahead when it comes to toys and assembly, and that's why QC is kind of hit or miss with Vietnam produced products. But I'm sure they'll get better with time as they get more used to it in a trained, ecosystem. But it's something where we've always had tariffs. That's one thing that I want to stress to people is tariffs have always existed. They've always existed since the beginning of time. Heck, if I'm a business in Canada sending products to the United States long before any of your political drama stuff that you guys are attaching yourself to, there still was tariffs. There still was duty. There still was all kinds of stuff. I still once in a while, when I order a package, get hit with something depending on how expensive it is. So when you're talking a company like Hasbro that's sending multi-billion dollars of units of all kinds of product across the globe, they're still getting hit with tariffs. They were for years. But back then, the tariffs were between 10 and 15%, depending on the product, depending on how many units. It was variable. So obviously before, I probably should have brought up the other slide too that shows how tariffs were throughout the years, going all the way back to 1998. But it was always like 10, 15, 10, 15. And then, of course, when that big proposal happened, it was like, oh my God, 140, and then it went down to 40%. Well, they finally came to a trade deal agreement, and they have made a deal with Vietnam, and it's going to be 20%. So between 5 to 10% more than what it was before, which isn't a lot considering that it was 10% for literally like 3 decades. So, yes, there's going to be a little bump, but it's so minuscule that hopefully and again, companies won't be honest about it. We'll get into that in a moment. But hopefully companies will be honest about it and they won't make us have to suffer too much for it. And especially due to the fact, and here's another reason why I hope they'll be honest about it, because what was the trade agreement that they said in this article? Well, the agreement is that it's going to be 20% instead of 10 or 15, but Vietnam now has to import all American goods, regardless of what they are, to their region, 100% tariff free instead of 10 to 15%. So that's a huge savings margin. So if you're a smart company like a Hasbro, like a Takara, like anything, if you have any kind of ecosystem in these countries where you're selling their products and now you could bring it over tariff free, bro, there's your place to make your money that you dare I say you could even argue the small percentage you're losing there. But of course, and this is my concern, And I know that there's guys from Hasbro who are lower on the rung who are watching, and I respect you guys and love you guys. And we all know that it's always the guys upstairs in the ivory tower that we have to worry about. But the point of the matter is, now that this whole tariff drama is over and we don't have to worry about it, and it's not as bad as it was going to be, this doom and gloom, Hasbro still fired 4% of their workforce. Are they going to be hired back? Probably not. Chris Cox went on CNN News and did this whole thing going like, oh, well, we're going to have to increase prices because of what's going on with the tariffs, And they did increase prices. Are they going to reduce them back now, specifically the leader class that you did? Probably not. So one thing you have to never forget, and this is always something, is you always have to be wary of companies when they always say they're always looking for some kind of new, ooh, no, this is why we have to increase the prices. So I really hope that there's some honesty here. But remember, we're not the most important people to these companies. The shareholders are, and profits are more important than people, including their customers. And the only time they ever listen is when you stop buying, you know? And I'm a guy that's all about the sale, because if Walmart could ask 7, what did Walmart pay? And if that's what Walmart paid, then what was the assembly cost and per unit cost on the margin from the Rhode Island crew? So let's just say I'm not going to go broke so Chris Cox could be on yet again another yacht, you know? I am going to be picky and choosy with what I like. And like I always say, and again, if you're a patron, you know how it works. There's always a sale. And we're going to get into some sales that we bought. Because if you were a patron of the podcast, we found some beautiful sales, at least for the Canadians this time around. Shout out to Cringe McCringle, who holds it down for us Americans with the sales on our Patreon and our Discord. So, but I'm going to hope that we have some transparency from Hasbro. I hope that there's a press release now that this news is out there. I have a sinking feeling that's not the case. Speaking of, how you doing, Aaron? What's up? We're going to have a fun weekend coming up. But I hope there's some transparency with all of that. But I get a feeling it won't be the case. I feel that there won't be transparency. They'll just act like, oh, this didn't happen. No, there was no trade agreement. We're still not going to hire back John Warden that we fired because we couldn't afford him because he was too senior in the company, and we counted the beans. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to be hanging out with the lower rung of Hasbro, and I don't mean that despairingly. I mean that's the reality of where they are in the company, meaning the designers and the engineers and the marketers, which they're just as much as at risk as anyone else. So I'll definitely be having those conversations in a couple of weeks at San Diego Comic-Con. What's up, Aaron? How you doing, brother? Had a great live stream. You should have checked out Aaron's live stream yesterday. He did some really good Posca paintings. We'll be talking about his stuff in a moment. But the last thing I want to talk about, and it's actually to celebrate a creator, a businessman, a lot of stuff, kind of a controversial figure if you're really deep into the comic industry, but still very important in terms of the Transformer world. On June 30th, we lost at the age of 73 after an extremely long bout of, it was like a throat cancer that he was suffering from. It's esophageal, which is kind of like its throat esophagus cancer. He's been suffering from it for years. But Jim Shooter passed away at the age of 73, and it can't be stated enough. I mean, we could separate all the stuff he's done, like with Marvel, just on the Marvel side of things, the stuff that he's done within the industry, the connections that he had with Sunbow Entertainment and Margaret Loesch and everything, and bringing more of the media aspect and the toy aspects of Marvel alive, and the marketing, and bringing Marvel into the modern age of the 90s with Margaret. We could talk about that forever. And he's controversial to some figures. Some hardcore comic guys, especially creators, don't like him because of the media aspect. But he was a very, very important figure in the early sparks of Transformers being a thing. And him and Denny O'Neil two guys that do not get enough credit. They were those two together. Essentially, Hasbro, Jay Bacall pretty much came to Marvel and said, "Hey, we need an 8-page treatment for our fighting robots," And it was Jim Shooter who found Denny O'Neil, and the two of them sat down and made an 8-page treatment. And that gave birth to the idea of the planet Cybertron, a leader character named Optimus Prime, a side character named Prowl, which the Autobot logo would be based on, and a treacherous bad guy character named Ulktar, which would later evolve into Starscream. And all of that would not exist if not for that man, and of course the godfather of 80s and 90s Batman and Denny O'Neil, and of course some really good Daredevil stuff too, and Iron Man. But the point is that so people don't realize just how important he is. We could celebrate Kojin Ono, props to the bro. Yoke-san, props to the bro. Again, Bob Budiansky, very much props to the bro. And on and on. Simon Furman, all the OGs from back in the day. Kuniharu-san for 80, 86, 87 moving forward. I could go on and on. I know I'm leaving out here. Hisashi Yuki when we get into the late 80s. But the point is that all of that would not exist. We wouldn't have Planet Cybertron. We wouldn't have Optimus Prime and his name and everything like that if not for Jim and Denny. And Denny's no longer with us. He passed away, I believe it was 3 years ago. And now Jim's no longer with us. And it was two insane pillars, the foundations of Generation 1 and what really started it. And the cool thing about Jim, too, is he was really good on the story treatment and marketing side of it, because that was kind of like his background and why him and Stan Lee got along so well. Because Stan Lee at that point was already checked out and he was in Marvel West Coast doing all the Sunbow and Marvel production stuff. But he was really good at story treatments and planning and like that. And one thing, and I wish I could find this article. If I ever do, I'm going to post it on Twitter. But I remember reading this great article. They interviewed Jim Shooter, and he talked about how there were so many times they wanted to cancel the Marvel Transformer comic, and he kept sticking up for it, saying, no, there's something here. And that's why it lasted as long as it did. The 80 issues, then the crossover with G.I. Joe for a bit, going into Generation 2. Jim Shooter was a large portion of their survival because he decided what got canceled and what didn't. And when sales went down, he still kept it going. Maybe because Simon was really just an awesome dude too. But the point is, fantastic dude, fantastic stuff. I know he has his haters because, again, and I understand it, like from the artistic side of the industry and stuff, you kind of have your own different goals and ambitions, and some of the stuff that Jim, built his foundation on kind of conflict with that. I know John Byrne, someone who I insanely respect in the comic industry, She-Hulk and X-Men and stuff like that, is not a fan of Jim, is one example. But again, you sometimes have to look at both sides of the business side. I can understand the artistic side, but I could also understand the business side of it. So it's something that, again, he will be missed, and such a shame. Never got to properly meet him. He was always at shows. He was always busy, but I have been at panels that he's done, and he always seemed funny and charming and always willing to answer questions and stuff. So very, very cool. Very, very cool guy. And he will be missed. Again, the age of 73, which, in my opinion, in this day and age, it's kind of young still, in my opinion, if you take care of yourself. But again, he has had a lot of problems with cancer and stuff. And yeah, so it's always been tough for him. Cringe McCringle, what's up? What's up, Cringe? We just gave you a shout out before, actually. But I'll be seeing you next week too. So that's it more or less for the news. We're going to talk about some stuff we got this week, and then we have a TFcon exclusive reveal, both the main exclusive and then a Patreon exclusive for fans that will be present, and we'll work something out, So, but first, let's talk sponsors, because we got to always give them the love. Let's talk about in the next couple weeks. Let me reach over for these guys. We got to reach over for them. Giggity. Let's talk about Symbiote Studios and their San Diego stuff. So, of course, we got debuting at San Diego Comic-Con, their little Laserbeak, the shoulder shitter. Shoulder sitter. That's a mouthful. I don't know if it'll work with this one because this is really thick denim. Let me try. Let me just try. It's probably, well, maybe it will work. I don't know. Oh, it actually does work. Okay. That's a really strong magnet then. But so these are essentially for cosplay. You could put it on your wrist too, and you could have them like, 86 movie. And cool little Laserbeak plush, very cool with the official tag from Hasbro and Symbiote Studios. So that's pretty awesome. And then, of course, we have the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, the G2 Snarl. Only 100 of these will be available. I think 100 or 150. Not a lot of them are going to be available. Only 100 to 150. Cool G2 logo. I dig that. That's really cool. The dark face, the red eyes, G2 style. That is really, really cool. Looking awesome. So these are only going to be, I believe, 100 to 150 available at San Diego Comic Con. So that's going to be really cool. Again, Autobot tag on that one. Very, very awesome. And then, of course, all the others, like the t-shirt, that's going to be the Catnip Bravo / Grimlock t-shirt. I'm actually rocking the Catnip Bravo Optimus one today. Pure coincidence. So that's going to be available too. I don't know how many units of that. That's supposed to be also a San Diego Comic-Con debut. So I don't know how many of those are going to be available, but that's pretty awesome. So that's popping off. And then of course, all of those are going to be available. The G2 Snarl is going to be $29.99. The Laserbeak's going to be $24.99, and the T-shirt is going to be $24.99. But if you buy two shirts, and it's not just two of the same, they're going to have a huge range of Symbiote Studio related shirts. They're going to have actually more shirts that are Transformer adjacent. I just don't want to reveal them yet because they're not finished. But those will be available at the show too. So you can mix two and get them for 40 instead of $24.99 each. So you could get two for 40. So check those out. We'll be at Symbiote's booth a majority of the weekend. I know that I do have some obligations with Udon and Capcom later on, so I might be at their booth at some point too. But most of San Diego Comic-Con weekend, I will be at Symbiote Studios booth. A little bit of Hasbro too. But yeah, we will see what's popping with that in the future for other stuff. But again, check out Symbiote Studios and all their juiciness, like, of course, all their t-shirts, like the one I'm wearing today. And, of course, all the rest of the product. We still have plenty more to be revealed. Plenty more. So stay tuned for that here on the Transformer Slag podcast. The year is not over yet. There is still plenty more to come out. Of course, they have their video game stuff. They got their My Little Pony stuff. They got a lot of stuff. So we'll check them out in the future. And of course, we got the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. Aaron's in the chat with us today. We're going to be recording a new segment tomorrow. And then hopefully I could crunch it out in time. Hopefully I could crunch it out in time because I have some days off because for TFcon, I could crunch it out in time before Thursday. And you guys will get a brand new Toy Armada segment. But if you have not watched the Toy Armada, go check it out. If you like listening to my dumb voice and Aaron Archer's, go check out the Toy Armada, where we talk about the toy industry, specifically Transformers, but also Transformer brands that are adjacent to it and the history of them. We've had guests like Steve Bono, who's the mastermind behind Beyblade and other Hasbro brands. There's another tongue twister. But the last one we did was talking about Kicker and Alpha Q, and how there was a lot of ties to them in the early inceptions of movie stuff and all of that. So again, just throw it in your YouTube, Google machine, the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer, and go subscribe to that channel and check out all the stuff that Aaron's doing too. And what else is Aaron doing? Well, Aaron this weekend is going to have a whole bunch of Posca paintings. He's going to have a whole bunch of art books, but if anything you see here you want to get now and you're not going to be at TFcon, or you're going to be at TFcon but you want to reserve and get it right now, go to archermonster.com/shop and pick these up while you can. I'm pretty sure none of these have sold yet, although I think one of them did sell. I'm not sure. Aaron says here, the Japanese invented converting robots. Hasbro and its partners, Marvel, Sunbow, and Grimfall, created Transformers. There we go. Japan easily created transforming robots. I mean, I did actually. Should I go get it? Technically, the very first transforming robot goes to Superman's Flesher animations. But I did a whole segment on that. Look on, whenever you get the chance, the very first transforming robot Transformer Slag podcast. We did a whole segment talking about the history of transforming robots going all the way to the 40s and the 30s. It's quite fascinating. Quite fascinating. But yeah, and then everything went full circle with Miyazaki. It's kind of interesting. Lizard Sphere X with the $5 super chat. Can you think of any other jet formers that can transform into jet to a truck? Super Sentai 5-man mecha, Octane are the only ones you could think of. When you're talking triple changers, are you talking something that could be outside of a triple changer? Because like we could talk dual cons, and then like, oh, if you don't want to say truck, but you could say like, tank and jet, you know, with some of the dual cons. Because not many of, triple changers are always kind of a tough thing to get into. And when you talk about like jet modes, it's like, do you want to count, the car mode of Galaxy Force, Cybertron, Megatron, and his jet mode, So it's like there's a lot of those tough ones. And then, of course, I mean, the chat mentioned it too with Cybertron. Optimus is fire truck mode, has a jet mode because of his wings, I guess, but it's like loosely a jet mode, you know? And then anything that was like a repaint retool of an Octane, then we could be like, oh, okay, then Bison from, Bison, not Bison, was it Ryu? Which one was Bison? Bison was the tank one. Ryu from or Ryu from the Street Fighter crossover, but anything that shares that tooling, you know, with Octane. So there's a few. There's a few that come off the top of my head. Lizard Sphere X, thank you for the question, brother. Thank you for the question. But yeah, check out Aaron's stuff. He's a lot of good stuff there. He's going to bring some amazing paintings too and everything. So check it out. But again, if you aren't going to be at TFcon and you want to secure it, I heavily suggest going on his website now and making purchases, because some of these will definitely not make it the weekend. For sure, people are going to be buying these. So if you want to be able to get these one-of-a-kind pieces, this is going to be your chance right now. So get it while you can, reserve them while you can, or alternatively, if you're going to be at the show and you don't want to worry about, waiting in line and someone snatching it before you do in the convention hall, maybe purchase it on the website and then send Aaron a PM and say, hey, I'm going to be at the show. Can I pick it up in person? One way to do it too. That way you get everything covered. So check that out. And again, of course, like I said before, the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. And last but not least, Bin Studios with their Unicron 2-in-1s. Check it out, binstudios.iwarp.com. Get your 2-in-1 Unicron kit. Check it out. And last but not least, got to pimp myself, because next week, ladies and gentlemen, new Comic Book Wednesday. Is it new next week? Oh, no, it's 2 weeks from now. Jeez, I don't even know my own dates. This is what happens when you do too many conventions. You don't even know what day it is anymore. So early July, that's what the original slide was. But it's now confirmed July 16th, new Comic Book Wednesday. The debut of Mega Man X Timelines, issue number 1, has come out. Will be coming out. And I will say this again. So now the numbers are slowly starting to trickle out. We're starting to see the pre-order numbers. What makes me really happy, and I don't want to throw shade at IDW, but issue number 1 of Mega Man Timelines sold more than almost every single IDW comic book that has ever been made of Transformers. That's how good it did. And we still didn't get the variant number sales yet. We only had just the retail numbers, the first 3 covers. Let me just pull them up here. Covers ABC, the first 3 on the top left there. The cover D there and the blank cover, we did not get the sales numbers for those yet, because those are special prices. But the pre-orders for 1, 2, 3 ABC, I can't say the numbers right now. I'll leave that to Comicron, which is actually the people who tabulate this. They'll have the final numbers. But let's just say we crushed it. And I want to thank everyone who supported this, whether you were supporting me for, like, even if you don't like Mega Man, you just wanted to buy something because I was working on it. But I just want to thank everyone who pre-ordered, everyone who showed up. We did insanely well, so much so that we even outsold the classic Mega Man comic book, which says a lot. The fact that we outsold even the classic Mega Man is making people pay attention. Let's put it that way. So again, thank you to everybody who supported this, who pre-ordered. And I will say this, there's more to come because this made a lot of people happy. Let's put it that way. From the business side of it, I'm just a writer, but from the business side of it, it made a lot of people happy. So again, I apologize. I will not be able to have any copies at TFcon Toronto. It's just not going to ship out in time to me. I mean, let's put it this way, guys. It's supposed to be coming to me in the mail as we speak. If by some miraculous fluke it shows up before I leave Wednesday, Thursday for TFcon Toronto, then I'll have it and I'll do some announcement. But I'm not banking on it. Let's put it this way, especially with Canada's the way we ship stuff. Canada Post is doo-doo. So, but there's no promises with that. It's more of a no than a yes, if anything. So it's something where definitely Otakuthon, definitely San Diego Comic-Con, and definitely TFCon Chicago when that comes. Those will definitely try to have some inventory there. But if not, again, guys, pick it up in your local comic book store. Don't wait to buy it from me. Buying it from me doesn't really help me as much as if you buy it from the local comic book store. If you buy it from the local comic book store, the local comic book store goes, oh, people want this. And then they'll buy more. And that one sale from me doesn't help me as much as you buying it from a comic book store and they go, oh, they want more, and they buy 15 of them. You know what I mean? So I think that'll help more. And look, if you buy from the local comic store, bring it to in person to me afterwards. I will sign it for you. And this is where you're super lucky too. Fun fact, guys, that first cover and the interior colors, all Joshua Perez, who's been at every USA TFCon. He's been a colorist with IDW for years. Me and Josh have worked on a ton of stuff together. So Josh did all the amazing coloring on all of this. So you could get it written, you could get it signed by the writer and the colorist, and then you just got to track down Edwin when he does, I don't know, Edwin does a lot of conventions actually. So if you check Edwin's Twitter, I'm pretty sure he's near a convention near you in the United States, but you'll be able to get all three of us. And then if you could track down, I guess Matt Moylan did the lettering. So if you could find Matt Moylan at at a convention, maybe San Diego or a fan expo, you could get him to sign, and then you'll get the letterer, you get the inkers, you'll get everybody on there. So, but either way, again, thank you for all the love and support, guys. It's absolutely incredible. You guys really turned out, and man, we just crushed it. We crushed it, and it's been a dream for me to work on that brand. Like, I love Transformers, in case you notice, but Mega Man's always been my other passion. That's where my screen name comes from. When I made my screen name almost 30 years ago, when I made my screen name almost 30 years ago on the internet, I went with a Mega Man name, because I was going to be in the Transformer world, but I wanted to not have a Transformer related name. So I went with a Mega Man name. So to be able to work on that brand is a dream come true, and you guys are going to help me continue that dream by supporting it. So that's amazing stuff. Absolutely amazing stuff. And it's just the numbers. I was so surprised by how well it did. Because number ones always do well, but how well it did is great stuff. Great stuff. So thank you again, guys. So let's talk about what we got this week. Actually, you know what? Let's do the exclusive, and then we'll talk about it. Let's show what you guys are going to get first before I showed you what I got. So let's get to the slides. So first up, what the first exclusive that we're going to be giving, okay, that we're going to be selling at the show is nothing that people haven't already seen. It's more just meeting the demand. So for those who have not been able to be to any of the TFCon USA shows, we will be having a short print of the red versus blue Pokemon Transformers set that will be available at TFCon, a limited number of them. I think I only made 20, if I remember correctly. So if you were not able to be at TFCon, what was the last TFCon? I don't even remember anymore. Aaron, where were we? Baltimore? LA? God, I don't even remember. I think it was LA. Was it LA? I don't know. I do so many of these, I lose track. So, um, but we will have a short run of them available at TFcon. So if you did not be able to get the 2-pack of the red versus blue, we will have that available for. Was it LA? Thank you, T Formers. I don't know. I do so many of these shows. I do, like, not just Transformer shows. I do so many conventions a year that I just don't remember anymore. That's why I miss when BotCon was once a year. It was so much easier to remember. Oh yeah, the Disney year. Oh yeah, the Chicago year. So we're going to be doing a short print of that for the people who were not able to pick that up. Again, limited to 20. I might actually limit it to one per person because I don't want people like buying 5 of them and just for like, devious needs and stuff. I wanted that everyone could get these. So again, we'll have that. But exclusive to TFCon Toronto, at least for now. We'll see how it sells and then maybe we'll make extra for maybe Chicago. But exclusive TFCon Toronto, drum roll please, designed by Bin Studios with the help of Damon Bat, who did the amazing package art. Ladies and gentlemen, to complete red, blue, yellow B. Ladies and gentlemen, we got yellow B. So anyone who knows the deep cut of this, who was on the cover? Well, Pikachu was originally on the cover. So who's going to take his place? Well, of course. And we have a brand new sculpted Bumblebee head on the cartridge. Again, Bin Studios. So we're going to have that. That is the TFCon Toronto exclusive. That'll be available. So that'll be available for $15. Oh, I forgot to mention might as well just. So this 2-pack here will be 25 and this will be 15 just for the one. So that'll be available. Now, if you are a patron of my podcast of 2 years or more, we will work something out for you to be able to get one. Don't worry. I always put aside for patrons just in case. So if you can't make Toronto, we will make sure there's a way for you to get it. If you can't make Toronto, we'll also try maybe bring it to, like, let's say Chicago or something. But so this will be a TFCon exclusive for the time being. Again, it really depends how this sells. So check that out. But there's even more. So, as an extra thank you to the patrons, if you will be at TFCon Toronto, so if you purchase a yellow bee from me, you will also get an exclusive gold version with Goldbug's head on it. Goldbug version. So, I didn't do a slide for that one. So there's going to be a gold version also available. So if you buy Yellow Bee and you are a patron of 2 months or more, we will throw in for free a gold bug version as a nice little extra exclusive. So as a thank you again to you guys who help support the podcast. So hope you guys like that. We have, let's put it this way, guys. I'm looking off to the side here. We already have the exclusives planned for 2026. We've been busy. We've been busy on the development side of things. So, but yeah, check that out. Again, this will be $25 for the pair, limited run just for Toronto for the people who couldn't make it to LA. So check that one out if you wanted red and blue, which of course, again, we're going with the Dragon Megatron for Charizard, Snaptrap for the Blastoise, and then of course, Rat Trap for the Pikachu label. And Bumblebee is, of course, the representation character. He will be 15 for the singular one there. All of these will be available at TFCon Toronto in limited numbers. So check it out. They will be at the Aaron Archer / Protoman booth. And come by, say hi, and hope you enjoy it. Hope you enjoy it. And again, thank you everyone who worked on this. Damon Bat with the label, Bin Studios with the design, all the greatness. Thank you. So yeah. And that's it for now. I've been holding these off camera for a while now. So, but they're really cool. Nice clicky transformations. Very fun. And we have more for next year. We have a lot of other stuff planned for future shows. But for now, TFcon Toronto is our next focus. So we'll do that for now. And that's it more or less for like reveals and stuff. So let's get into what we got this week. Aside from that, let me see if I can grab that. Threw away. Ugh, where'd he go? Did I throw it far? Oh no, oh there it is. One sec, guys. I think I threw it too hard. Shame on me. So aside from this patch that I got, so again, gonna promote myself here. Again, if you're part of the Patreon, another bonus of it is we have our Discord, and in our Discord we have what is called the sales section, where anytime there's really sales, flash sales, all kinds of deals on Transformers, don't pay full product for some of your hobby, save your money. We have a good section for that where we always try to be on top of the deals. And there was a flash sale that happened at Walmart last week, and yeah, for about $10, all of the Legacy United stuff was on $10 clearance. So $10 USD. So yeah, so I picked up Filch, $10. There's an Aaron Archer one. Good old Cannonball. Can't wait to do a photo shoot of that one, because I have all the Cannonballs up to this point. I have the Cybertron one. I have the BotCon one. That'll be fun. And then good old G2 Road Pig. I own the original of that guy too, so that'll be cool to do a photo shoot. And all his repaints, all the different versions. So I got the sideways one there from Robot Masters. So those were on sale, so I picked those up for really cheap. I tried to get other ones, but unfortunately, when you have those flash sales, they kind of get picked over very quickly. But again, another benefit of being part of the Patreon is the second I was in Walmart and I saw those, I took pictures to send to the Discord and let people know. Now, if you're going to TFcon Toronto, maybe it wouldn't hurt to check some of the Walmarts. I just hope that not everyone is watching the live stream right now and picking it all over right now. So, but it's something where, again, if you were part of the Discord, you would have known way in advance. Good stuff. Good stuff. But yeah, man, good stuff. So that's it more or less for the news for what we got this week, aside from, of course, the poutine patch, Montreal. Souvenir de Canada of Canada. What a silly thing. This was in Walmart too. But I love it. It's so Montreal. All it's missing is a hockey stick. And then you got it in a nutshell. That's why Canada is not poutine. Montreal is poutine. But either way, we're just going to take some super chats. How much time we got left? We got a good hour left. And again, this is going to be, so what's going to be happening is next week, Saturday, we won't have a live stream because we will be at TFCon. We'll probably do a live stream on Sunday night. We're just going to try to figure out the logistics like we always do every year. We try to like get a corner and stuff and everything. And and that reminds me, Ninjatron's thing too, which I didn't get to do the slide, but I do have the stickers nearby. One sec. Yeah. Got to reach for them. Oh, damn it. I can't reach for them. So Ninjatron's also going to have a sticker set available that'll be at our table. It's going to be a video game sticker set, which I'll post it on my Twitter when we get closer to the show, because it's going to get lost in the news otherwise. But we're going to post everything on Wednesday as a reminder. But so Ninjatron has a really cool video game sticker set with Super Mario as Transformers and stuff, and Donkey Kong and everything. That'll be really cool too. Ninjatron, how much is that one going to be? I didn't have that information actually. What's the sticker set going to be? The price? Because Ninjatron's in the chat right now. I never got a price on that one. Yeah, hopefully we get the corner area cringe. That's a really good spot to do it, I find. Because I've tried in the past I've like just audio and lighting tested. Like hotel rooms are great for like audio, but they suck for lighting. They have like the worst lighting in the world. They have like that orange lighting next to the beds. That's about it, really. $10 for the set of 6. Okay, cool. So it's a single page set of stickers. We're gonna post it on my Twitter. We're gonna post all the exclusives because to show it now, it might get forgotten and everything, but it'll be at the booth too, so you could check that out. The sticker set and everything. You'll be able to get all of that. I should have made a slide for that. I always make the slides super early. Should have made a slide for it. Oh well. We'll definitely post it on Twitter for sure. For sure, we'll post. I have some of them. I have some of the stickers. Yeah. But it's going to be on a set. Here, let me grab that. Two of them. So here's like the Optimus Mario and the Grimlock Yoshi. But there's going to be other ones too. There's going to be Donkey Kong. I don't want to spoil it too much. You'll see when you see because it's kind of cool. So check those out too. Those will be available. Clyde Pro, what are your thoughts on Ultraman Omega? I saw it go up on their YouTube channel. I did not watch it yet. It's funny. So I saw literally I opened up my YouTube late Friday night and I was like, I saw it and I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch it. And then I saw Aaron Archer's live stream was happening. And I was like, ah crap. I gotta watch that. So I watched Aaron's live stream instead. But I am gonna catch it. I'm gonna probably try to catch it this week. What's the title? What was the title of the first episode? An alien has come or something? I remember seeing the title. An alien has arrived with his red face. His very unique design. So we will check that out. Any word on the raffle items for the charity auction? Yeah, okay. So I was actually going to talk about that too. I was working on my Twitter post for that because I'm going to do that on Monday. So the charity auction still is on. It is still in the Encore Canada panel room. They changed the name of it again. It was called the Gaydon da 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 da. Now it's called Encore Canada panel room. So it's going to be in the Encore Canada panel room. Donations for the charity auction will start Friday, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Come to me. I will be in there with Ian. Bring your donations. We'll give you your tickets for the raffles. We don't have all of the giveaways yet, so we didn't do a public announcement. We're going to wait till Monday, and then we'll have a nice big, hey, here's everything you could win. It'll be either Monday or Wednesday. I'm not sure which, one or the other. But we'll do a post. We'll do a post on my Twitter, and we'll do a post on the TFcon Twitter also, just with all the information on it. But it's still in the panel room, which is now called the Encore Canada. But if it's your first time at TFcon, just to let you know, there's a few things that are going to be different this time. The artist alley is still going to be behind the coffee shop on the other side where the registration thing happens. They moved a few things around. I heavily suggest going to TFcon's schedule page and then scrolling all the way down to the map because the map has like a new setup for how everything's going to be this time around. Deal room still in the same spot. Guests are still in the same spot. Panel room still in the same spot, but other things have been moved around here and there. I believe not the parts party, the custom class, if you're doing that, is still in the same spot. I believe. I think it's still the same. Oh, there was a super chat. I am so sorry. So sorry. Merrill Fabrication. I will pick up my Mega Man comic from SDCC. See you. Oh, Merrill, 100%. Well, for sure the comics will be at San Diego. For sure. If we go into San Diego without the comics, we messed up, you know? We messed up big time. So, but definitely the charity auction, nothing has changed more or less. But again, 5 p.m. We'll open up the panel room doors, and then you can bring in your donations and everything for Make-A-Wish, and that's going to be awesome, like always. Yeah, Artist Alley, I think they're putting in that really far away spot again. The problem is that there's just so many guests, there's so many dealers and stuff, and you kind of want to just consolidate everything. Me personally, it's something where you have to ask yourself, which would you prefer, the Artist Alley all the way over there, or would you prefer the Artist Alley? A lot of people don't know this. There actually is a basement location directly under the dealer room. Some past TFcons, they've used it. They've used it for autograph signings in like 2015, and I think like in 2017 they used it for one dealer room. If you want the Artist Alley somewhere else, I heavily suggest at the end of the convention weekend, there is the QA with Colin Douglas, who runs the convention. You could suggest maybe doing it below. It's a matter of space. The problem with Toronto is it's small, it's limited. There's only so much space that they could put. And be honest with us. Which would you have more easily accessible? Toy dealers, guests, or the artists? Artist Alley. Not professional artists. Professional artists are part of guests, like Aaron Archer and Andrew Griffith and James will all be there. James Reyes. Um, but I'm saying more like the independent artists. Like, which would you prefer? And be honest, like, don't try to hurt feelings, just more from the business standpoint. But there is a location under it that they haven't been utilizing. If you would like it there instead, and you feel that would be more convenient, personally, I think it would be more convenient. But I don't know. The problem with the one negative with that is it doesn't have wheelchair access, and I don't think it even has elevator access. So that might be a problem. Does it have elevator access? Larry, do you know that? I don't know. Does it have elevator access? Ninjatron, do you know if it has elevator access for that basement area? But I mean, we haven't utilized it in a while. There must have been a reason for that. Either way. So it's going to get messy, as always. I thought start strong with Omega. Well, we're going to do very well with the charity auction. Tom Laney could still do Patreon listener questions, kind of a financial question. Is the demand for old G1 at an all-time low with the modern takes of everything? Tom, I can answer that 100%. G1 sales have plummeted quite a bit since, I'd have to say, 2015. There used to be a guy who used to go to TFcon. His name was Russ. There's got to be photos of his booth. Russ used to have gosh, 9 to 10 tables. He would take up practically a whole wall, and it was just everything of G1. Russ would have 9 complete Predakings, 14 Triptychons. He just had everything. And he used to do very well. Russ would do very, very well. And and primarily because if you wanted it, Russ probably had it. You need a bludgeon, you need a Thunderwing, you need an Action Master. But Russ stopped doing it primarily because he was like, oh man, people aren't buying G1 anymore. And it was something where, and the primary reason why people stopped buying G1 was not because people were aging out of it, is that it used to be, hey, I really like jazz. And if you wanted jazz, the only jazz toy you had really that transformed anyhow was the original Generation 1 toy, maybe the G2, and then you had an Action Master. That's about it, And you kind of were squeezed into that. But then the moment Classics really started rolling, think about it. Classics didn't start until 2006. You only had 12 units of items there. And those 12 units of items were not 100% Generation 1 accurate, not counting Hot Rod and Starscream, but even Optimus was kind of a little off, and the Megatrons. But as Classics became Universe and then Generations and really started rolling, if you wanted skids, you just got the Classics one. If you wanted, Sunstreaker, which are you going to spend? You're going to spend $125 for a complete Sunstreaker G1 from Russ, or $200 if it's 100% complete minty, or are you going to buy a $14.99 at the time 2008 Universe 2.0, Sunstreaker with comic book? I think he came. No, he didn't come with a comic book. Not yet. That was the Thrilling 30. It's something where the modern fans just felt, well, I'm just going to own the one that's more articulated, less fragile, and more screen accurate in some cases. In some cases, not always, but in some cases, So it really dropped off heavily. And all that was left was the G1 completists and older fans. But look, if you were a kid who grew up during Beast Wars, you didn't care about G1 unless you wanted to go back and revisit that. If you grew up with the Bay movies, that's not your G1. So Cringe McCringle's a movie toy collector. He's not a G1 collector. Let alone if he's going to spend $150, it's going to be on a lucky draw movie toy. It's not going to be on a 100% complete, Thunderwing, actually 100% complete Thunderwing might even more now. So it's dropped off heavily. Not to mention the reissues hurt the market in that I know guys that they rather just buy the reissue than the original, and they get the same experience. Spend $350, get original 1984 pre-rub Optimus Prime, or spend $100 or $89 and get a reissue. They'll get the same experience in their mind, and the difference is very nominal. So that's kind of my long short answer to that. Again, Russ stopped selling at TFcon because he was the G1 guy until people stopped buying it. And look, you could still buy G1 at shows, but it's very specific audience now. If you went into a TFcon, regardless if it's LA, West Coast, East Coast, or Toronto, it's mostly new stuff, third party, and then you have a good, I'd have to say, 5 to 10% that's Generation One collectors. And even then, the Generation One stuff is there, but I'd really love to know the numbers, and we can never truly know that. But how much actual Generation One product sells that weekend that's brought over there, you know? So it's kind of how it is, unfortunately. Cringe McCrew, I'm spending $150 on a toy. It's going to be a rare late wave hunt for the Decepticon store exclusive multi-pack. Well, there you go. See? That's what I'm talking about. Different generation. Different generation. So, and again, it's just there the money flows elsewhere. I also use like character exclusive, where for the longest time, if you wanted a bludgeon figure, there's only one bludgeon figure. It was that original Pretender Shell bludgeon. That was it. And then they made a bludgeon in 2009. And I guarantee a lot of guys that would have loved to have bludgeon just got that one and they were happy. They didn't care about the Pretender Shell. Best example being, where's Madam? Let me grab her box here. Minerva. Are you going to spend $2,500 to own a partially yellowed Minerva Headmaster from Masterforce? Or go to Walgreens and potentially find her for $24.99? Actually, at the time, $19.99. Most people are happy just picking this up and calling it a day. And not to mention, let's be real, Hasbro will probably do a Headmasters one later on anyways to keep the trademark alive in a couple of years. So to me, it's something that, unless it's a G1 character that still hasn't had a proper update yet, and there still is a few, it's a very limited number, but it still exists. Unless it's one of those, in general, there isn't a lot of demand for G1 unless it's completists. Like someone like me, oh, hey, maybe I could upgrade my Dino King Pretender shells or something, or the GPS on my G2 Slingshot, which I'm always scared to touch that guy. There's certain ones that, yeah, I could upgrade them, or if they yellowed or something, I could get a better version. But in general, guys like me are a minority. The majority of people, like, there's more guys that are not G1ers and guys that grew up with Beast Wars than there is guys that grew up with G1 and Beast Wars. It's a different world today. So, and I respect and understand that from the business side. That's how you make that's how you make those decisions. But yeah, hope that kind of answers that. Long, short answer on that one. Long, short answer on that one. Cringe McCringle, and that number is shrinking. People want the best version over the original. Of course, given the opportunity, think about masterpieces, right? If you have like $250, are you going to buy a masterpiece of the character or a Generation 1 version that may or may not have perfect paint? And we're not talking in the box. We're talking loose, complete, hopefully, without the paperwork, and hopefully no yellowing, no paint damage, and no chipping on, like, let's say, the clear plastic areas. And let's say the wheels didn't split. You're hoping for all of that, because sometimes you're paying crazy money for stuff that's not even pristine. So it's always a change. I look at, like, let's say the Marvel DC action figure collectors, right? There is not a guy who collects Marvel Legends, or on the flip side of it, DC Select or DC, McFarlane, or DC, McFarlane verse. There is not a single guy that collects those that they would drop it all for superpowers, like to own vintage superpowers. They don't care. It's two very different audiences. They want the best Batman. That's it. They don't care about superpowers, Batman, squeeze the legs, the fists go or something, you know? So they want the best version. They don't want superpowers. They don't want DC superheroes, the Kenner gold card, you know? Actually, no, was that Kenner? Or was that still Toy Biz? Aaron? Was that Kenner? No, that was Toy Biz. But yeah, either way, point is that, you know, it's something that they're not going to like. G1 sales are down, they're down, and it's understandable. That's why they're doing now, like, hey, we're doing it in different colors, and they're trying to do like that good old hot rod over there. They did that because they know guys like me already own the original 50 times over. You do a different color wave, and then it's like, oh boy, So the gold ones were toy, but yeah, it's true because they were the Batman '89 movie ones were gold, and those were Toy Biz. Yeah, that makes sense with Bob the Goon, Lex Luthor, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Robin was part of it, Mister Freeze, Superman, Green Lantern, and then the Batman stuff was Bob the Goon, Joker, and Batman, both versions. So yeah, but again, you know, it's unfortunately down, but it's just the evolution of it. To kind of expect 40-year-old toys, 40-plus-year-old toys that have been consistently reissued since 2001. By the time they were like 15 years old, already they started reissuing them like crazy in Japan. And then, of course, you had the commemorative line 2 years after that in America, you know? So already when they were 15-year-old toys, they were reissuing it, reissuing it, reissuing it. Like Hot Rod got like 3 different reissues. Optimus Prime got like 4 different reissues, like it's something where like almost the entire 84, 85 cast, minus obviously some of the molds that got lost, Dinobots, Wheeljack, not Wheeljack, Sunstreaker. I think Wheeljack's part of that too. Was he part of that also? I think Sunstreaker, Wheeljack, the Jump Starters, Shockwave for other reasons. There's a few that are just like those molds are no longer with us. Speaking of Shockwave, I recently got framed. I want to take a photo of it because I don't want to mess with the camera. This is above my computer here. I was going to have the glare though. How do I do it without the glare? Can't even do it without the glare. Just do it like this. I got finally got framed. I found a frame big enough. Got a nice frame for my Mark Watts giant print of Shockwave that's signed by him. He signed it and then he drew a little Shockwave there. I always love that. So I got that finally framed. It's above my computer now. I've been waiting to get a nice frame for that because that's a very weird size, his papers. So, and then a friend of mine was like, bro, why don't you go to Walmart? They have the Homestead or HomeSense line, and they have like frames for like $10 that are like huge. And I was like, what? And so shout out to Camise. Great stuff. Found them, man. So found a great frame for it. So that's cool. But yeah, it's because I mentioned Shockwave. I was like, my boy Shockwave. I love Shockwave. People always ask me like, who's my favorite? Hot Rod, Shockwave. Hot Rod's my favorite Autobot. I love Nitro Convoy. I love Road King. Shockwave's my favorite Decepticon. Beast Wars Megatron's my favorite villain overall. Anything Beast Wars. Beast Wars is amazing. Um, I like Braver. I like Star Saber. I like who else is good? Mini bots like Cliffjumper Brawn. You know, Outback is awesome. So many. Any additional patches to your jacket? Actually, I'm not even going to be wearing this one at TFcon weekend. I'm going to be wearing a different jacket. I'll surprise you guys that weekend with it. A brand new one with new stuff. So stay tuned for that. But for people that want to see, they always ask on the back there too. Um, no patches on this one this time, but I have a new one I will be wearing maybe Saturday, maybe Sunday. I'll see how I feel. Probably on Saturday I'll wear it because I believe my panel with Aaron is Sunday, so I'll wear something else. But yeah, so stay tuned for that. You'll see photos of that when the time comes. Cringe McCrigo, but now Missing Link is where things are G1 but better. Well, yeah, that too. Like Missing Link speaks to me where it's like, hey, like now you can have the G1 toy and it still does it's like every Missing Link toy, you could put it in a pose that looks like it's the original G1 toy and you could put it side by side and you would almost not even know if you're looking for the joints, you know? Um like it's just like, oh, you like G1 Optimus? Get the Missing Link one. It's the G1 toy in every way and better, you know? Like literally. And they're crushing it with that line. Like they're absolutely crushing it. I love that line so much. Like it speaks to me as the old man collector, but man, I love it. Mike Prime 21, I need to get some frames for posters of the G1 Battle box art. Again, Mike, they have like every size. Like I was shocked. Again, shout out to my friend, man. Like when he told me that, he said, go to the section where they have the mirrors and the frames, ignore the glass ones. Go past them. They have the Home Sense frames, which they're made of like a plastic kind of plexi, but they're incredible. They're incredible how cheap they are, but the quality's pretty decent and they're ready to hang, you know? I literally opened it up, put Mark's art in there, put it on the wall. Get Aaron's art. Aaron's art is all kinds of wacky sizes too because of the instructions and everything. Although some of the animated ones are pretty tiny. But like, so if you're looking to like frame Aaron stuff, go to HomeSense. Not HomeSense, go to Walmart in their HomeSense stuff. Very cool. Roman Chilling, hey Proto, do you think Hasbro will get around to making a new Predaking? Well, they just did a licensed one. So yes, but not anytime soon. They just came off the heels of that. Just came off the heels of that. So there's that very fancy schmancy one, if you want that one. And look, they did a Titan. Evan, I believe, when he did the panel with Nate from marketing, the last Hasbro Pulse live stream, he mentioned that it's on the back burner, but not anytime soon. You know, and he just mentioned they did the Titan too. So, Michael Butcher, happy Saturday to you too, Michael. Also, 4th of July for my Americans and Canada Day for my Canadians, July 1st. T Formers 2002. I hope the Aaron print that I've been searching for a frame is a good 6 to 7 months from now. Well, again, I actually have to go back because I have like one of my coolest things that I have that I've been dying to frame, and it's been really hard to find a frame for it, and I've been looking for years just because it's such a weird shape. I have I have the movie poster that ended up not being used and then instead it ended up being used in video stores. I have the movie poster slash video store poster for Revenge of the GoBots, the Rock Lord movie. And I have the original vintage poster. I found it at a garage sale in the 90s. And it was like, oh my God. And I've had this thing, no joke, in a tube wrapped up for like 30 years. And it's just because I just couldn't find a frame for it. And at the time, wall space was a premium when I lived with my parents. So I wasn't exactly like hunting desperately back then. But now it's like I'm always trying to find a frame for it just because I want to protect it. So I'm going to definitely probably find something. Now I have to measure it and everything because on my phone, I had the measurements for Mark's because Mark was such a weird size that I always had it on my phone. And I don't know if this applies for all of Mark's prints, but they're 18 by 11. So that's such a weird number. And luckily this one worked perfectly. But we will see in the future if I could find one for the GoBot one at Walmart. SP Gojira fan with a $2 super chat. What if the second 2026 Commander is Transformers animated Megatron? I don't think that needs to be a commander, though. I think you could get away with that as a leader class. Because think about it, if the Optimus is a Voyager, that's going to make him real. Like, what are they going to beef that thing into to make it that bigger than Optimus at a commander? You know, I could see it as a leader. Commander, you could do other fun stuff. I mean, obviously, when they do commander classes, they have to do more guaranteed sale characters, something that people would want to get. That's why those centerpieces of combiners always do well because you need to buy it. Doesn't matter if you don't like Silverbolt or Motormaster or Onslaught. If you want to complete your combiners, you need to buy it. Where if you do like, let's say you don't do Megatron, but you do like, let's say Blackout, animated Blackout. Yeah, that might work with the hardcore fans, but to most non-Transformer fans or casual fans, what's an animated Blackout to them? Especially at a Commander class price point, 89.99. So that's where it gets a little tough. I don't know about Commander. Commander leader, I could see. Commander's a little too big. Besides, I get feeling Big Convoy's coming soon. Twins Corner with the $2 super chat. Excuse me, $2.79 Canadian super chat, according to my thing here. Will we ever get a remake of Prime Predaking as a commander? Well, I could see Prime Predaking returning for sure, because the moment that trademark comes up, that's one of the many angles they could go with. They could just do that guy. I would see that as a commander, but here's a big problem. Beast Hunters, if you look at history, and Hasbro right now is like, hey, what sold well? Let's do more of that. Beast Hunters didn't sell well. Target exclusive, Predaking. Mm, if there's people still in the company that have the muscle memory of the sales of during Beast Hunters and Predaking, they might be hesitant. But at the same time, just like how maybe they didn't want to go all in on an Energon Megatron full size, maybe we'll get a small Prime Predaking. Tiny small Prime Predaking. If they ever do cores again. Cringe McCrigo, Omega Supreme needs to be a Titan. Yeah, Omega Supreme, nothing short of Titan. Nothing short of Titan. If anything, you want to be lazy and just do an extensive partial retool of the arc, I'm fine with that. I know people wouldn't like it, but I mean, he has to be a Titan. Anything small less than that is silly. But the problem is that is Star Convoy an indication of what Titans are going to be in the future? Then it's going to be a little rough. Mike Prime 21, Big Convoy is a leader next year. He was leaked a few months ago. Well, then there you go. So then maybe Omega Supreme. No, I think it's going to be more limbs. I see a lot of these commanders. I see them just like we're going to see more limbs. It's going to be more of that. We're going to have Hotspot. We're going to have maybe Abominus centerpieces and stuff like that. So that's where in the case of like even like maybe even the repaints. Look, at some point we got to get a G2 Motor Master, so that has to find a slot, so to speak. So there's that too, and then so many others, so many others. T-Formers 2000. I know we're getting Bruticus next year, but instead to keep the trademark has tech. Should have gone with Cerberus Bruticus. Yeah, well, it's true. They could do that, but that's something where if they look, when you think about that Bruticus, right? What do you do with that tooling afterwards? Are we going to do a similar kind of tooling and then Cybertron Scourge, aka Flame Convoy, as a partial from it? Let's say I'm trying to think of some ideas, that could work with that general shape, because it's always like, yeah, you could get the character out of it, but what do you do with it afterwards? What do you do afterwards? That's always the bigger question, because they said that they're going to be making less products. Less products, more time on the shelf. Less waves, more time on the shelf. So they got to make sure that what they do make is worth the time and money and the investment. And that's always the big thing. That's always the big thing is the time and energy to have it all put together, box art, all that stuff. It's a lot of work. So, Cringe McCringle. All I'm hoping for the future is movie stuff in 2027 for the 20th anniversary. Oh, for sure they'll do something. For sure. Once again, if they're looking at the past at what sold well, the movie 2007, it did well. It did it kind of shook the industry a bit, It did well. So they'll definitely do stuff. Look, they did stuff for the 15th anniversary. They did that box set for the Autobots, so they'll do stuff for sure. Um, but yeah, Mike Prime, I think hotspot for 2027, maybe Armada Jetfire for the second. Yeah, it's true. Armada Jetfire, maybe maybe Overload. That could also Overload would be a really cool commander with all the finally make him like crazy articulated. Like you look at his package art and he looks all like he's articulated and stuff, and his trading card. But then you look at his figure and his figure's like, it's just a brick, a very cool brick with a lot of detail, but still a brick nonetheless. You know, so it'd be cool to kind of get like an updated Overload. That'd be crazy with his mini con. Oh my god, that'd be cool. Tom Laney, it's kind of crazy that molds used to be one and done. Now look at them. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing with that, right? Here's the thing with that. I've had this discussion before. Look at G1, 84, 85, 86, half of 86. All of those were repaint retools from Diaclone Microman. So no investment there right out of the gate. So Transformers, during their most lucrative and successful years, 84, 85, and the half of 86, all that stuff was Sabaned in a sense. All the tooling was already there. So they made so much money from that front end, never having to make any new tooling outside of maybe a slight retool here and there, that when they went into 87, 88, 89, 90, now they could take all that money they made and put it into tooling in leaner times. Then you look at G2. Half of that line is repaints and retools. You look at Beast Wars. Very few Beast Wars molds didn't see a repaint. I mean, geez, think hard about that. Like even stuff like Bone Crusher, the Bison, got the Bighorn repaint in Beast Wars 2nd. Very few sculpts didn't get a repaint. So, and then you go into Beast Machines. Well, a lot of that didn't do well, but that didn't stop them from taking those Beast Machines molds and then putting them like Mr. Over here and a whole bunch of others, putting them into the Universe 1.0 line. Transformers always found a way to do repaints. And the only time they did one and dones was when they had that equity and all that money from the front end of G1, because they went into the best year of Transformer sales at that time with no investment needed, no tooling needed. The odd one-off character toolings here and there. I'm sure there's the Tycho RC little robots and stuff, Freezon and stuff. Yeah, they had to engineer those, but in general, no. Battle Gaia. Yeah, there's so many repaints that could be done. There's so many repaints that could be done. Mike Prime 21. Oh yeah, he needs a new one. I had Overload, and even though he looks like a brick, I love him, and I loved his combining Optimus and Jetfire. Well, Mike, Google Overload prototype. When he was in his gray colors, amazing. The biggest injustice to Overload was him being painted red, because red is such a strong color that sometimes I find it washes out details, you know? And that's coming from a guy who loves red, Proto Man, Hot Rod, but sometimes it washes out details on a plastic figure surface where Overload, if you look at his gray prototype, his resin proto, oh my God, he looked amazing. The details on him. Incredible. SP Gojira fan with the $5 super chat. Thank you. Gojira fan. Would it be possible if the 13 primes get potential repaint retools into different iterations, like Alchemist as a Cyberverse counterpart? Bro, that is something so many people have been thinking is probably going to happen. I think that because think about it this way, right? You're going to do a Prime toy, right? When are you going to use that trademark again? You're going to do a Nexus Prime, right? Or an Alchemist Prime, right? When are you going to use that trademark again? No better way to use it than put out the Prime toy, wait 4 years, do a repaint retool into a different iteration, but using the same basis. Same thing, like you said, with Alchemist and his Cyberverse counterpart with McAdams, wait 4 years, boom, gave him, I guarantee somewhere on that sprue that's already on the mold somewhere, they already have like extra accessories for that are related to their newer counterparts with new head sculpts. For sure. For sure. Somewhere in a factory, that Prime mold has a different head sculpt on there that's more like Optimus looking or something. Trust me. More Prime looking, I guess we'll call it. So 100%. And because think about it, there's going to be a ton of trademark. What do you do with Solus Prime after? What do you do with that? You know, Alpha Trion, you're not going to have a problem. The Fallen Megatronus, you're not going to have a problem. There's other versions that you could use, RID 2.0 and G1 and stuff. But like, there's certain ones like Quintus. Okay, if they want to do a throwback to Earthspark in a couple of years, but there's some that are tougher. There's some that are a lot tougher to do. What do you do with a Micronus? Are you going to do a RID 2.0 toy? Isn't that kind of what the actual Micronus toy is already? You know, so what Rodimus Supreme just said right there took the words right out of my mouth. Keep in mind, there's a delay when I see the chat. I have a 5-minute delay usually, or like 4-minute delay now with the bandwidth. Mike Prime, but thank you for the super chat, Gujira fan. Mike Prime 21. I bet Alpha Trion will get a re-release with his older head sculpt. 100%, 200%. They're going to do that. Alpha Trion, new head sculpt, probably new weapons. Maybe it'll be like a con exclusive or something. 200% they're going to do that. The fact that no one has done a photo yet, including I think it was Mark. No one has done a photo yet with his shield weapon that's supposed to make the tail skirt of his cape. I don't think I've seen a photo yet that has done that, but it's very clear that it's supposed to do that. You could just see it in like how it's all shaped and everything. So it's there, man. It's there. Tom Laney, they could let the names go. They could, but they also like to protect stuff sometimes. There's certain ones that I'm pretty sure they want to protect. Onyx Prime. At some point, they're going to do a Bat Primal toy. At some point, there's an Onyx Prime repaint out of that. If anyone knows that Bakon history, Nexus Prime, yeah, might be a tougher one. Then again, they might not. They might just take, in a couple years, they'll do the fun publication Bakon one, the club exclusive. Oh, he did? Okay, because I'm pretty sure I looked at the Takara photos. I don't think I saw them do the skirt, but maybe Mark did. I didn't get to catch all Mark's photos. I only saw some of them. But yeah, good stuff though. It all looks great. I'm very excited about all of it. That's for sure. That's for sure. But yeah, just to again reiterate with TFcon, I'm going to be at the charity auction. That's going to be Friday. I don't know if I want to do an early Friday sale for the exclusives, because that would mean like opening up my room for that and everything, because there's going to be no parts party at my room this year. I don't have the time for it. I have other stuff I'm going to be doing. But like, I don't know. I do not know if I'll, because again, you'll catch me on the Saturday anyways at Aaron's table. So it's more just, I think, maybe for the Patreon people, if they want to catch stuff early, or maybe for the limited run of the red and blue. I don't know. That's why I'm kind of half on that. Maybe I'll just wait for the Saturday and give people the opportunity to buy it then. And I'll be at the Aaron Archer table all weekend. We have a panel on Sunday, I think. So we'll have a Sunday panel and just hang out with people. Just hang out with people in the evening, and that's it. And relax. TFcon Toronto's the more chill show. It's less business, less running around, less crazy dealer room, just kind of hanging out. So T-Formers 200 to cars, always doing repaints with Diaclone and Microman molds even before G1 existed. Yeah, 100%. 100% T-Formers. That goes back to like literally they were coming out in the same wave. It would be like, oh hey, Silver Streak, Blue Streak, Prowl, all in the same wave. Oh hey, police, we call them Cordon now, but police Sunstreaker, regular red Sunstreaker, you know. And then even like the train bots got repaints after a year, Raiden and them. So it's something where it's like, you know, for sure. It's always been ingrained in the history of it. And it has a lot to do with the fact because of how much time and energy it takes to make a Transformer toy. I can't stress enough. I don't have a regular action figure near me. That's the problem because I'm in the Transformer room. I'll grab this guy, but he's kind of a bad example because he has internal mechanisms. But you know, old He-Man toys. This is obviously the classics one, so it has more joints, and Roboto has all the gears on the inside. But I mean, you're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sonic weld the chest, so it puts all the pieces together. No screw, just a sonic welding for the chest to hold all the arms and legs together. One or two accessories. Grand total, 15 pieces, max 16, for a 5 point of articulation figure. If it has a few accessories, 15 pieces max, maybe some knee articulation. That's it. You're talking, let's take this guy again, pick on him. The lowest price point of Wild King. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. It's one piece, this one. 25, 26, because of the joint there. 27, 28. And then 29. 29 for the lowest price point from Wild King, as opposed to any action figure max 15 to 20. Like a Marvel Legends might be 30, maybe might be 30. Depends on the character. Some of them they don't give the ab crunch, but so it's like it's something that Transformers involve you know, a lot more investment, and especially with the Marvel Legends, they recycle the bodies all the time. Like people, oh, Transformers repaints. Well, if you're a Marvel Legends collector, you probably own, like, if you collect any of the female characters, a lot of those bodies are shared. Like they have Wolverine body, Spider-Man body, and regular male body, which is like a 6-foot guy, and then they have like the female body, and then they've had variants of that, but they just repaint them, and you guys just don't realize it. And look at He-Man. He-Man had 2 body types, Sorcerer and Barbarian. Then they just put different heads and different accessories. Tons of repaints. So Transformers is not alone with that. And anyone that's owned 90s Batman, oh, the repaints and accessories. Arctic Attack Batman, Laser Batman, Underwater Batman, Battle Batwing Batman, Battle Strike Batman, Heat Attack Batman. Just to name a few. Just to name a few. Tom Laney, what about TFCon Chicago? Planning is finally going to be going on. Well, again, I don't really look at one show until the next one, until the one coming up is done. Not to mention, like, I have, like, just literally within the next month, it's TFCon Toronto, San Diego Comic-Con, and Otakuthon Montreal, which is the second largest anime convention in North America. So those are all within a month. It's do TFCon, take a week off, San Diego Comic-Con, and then Otakuthon right after that. Antifreeze Batman. David Cabal knows what's up. I only got, where is he? He's all the way back here. I Only got classic Batman here. Good old classic Kenner Batman. I love that one from the Dark Knight collection. Oh, goes the water. Ugh. But yeah, did I say classics? Origins, whatever. You know what I mean. I'm not a big He-Man guy. I just like Roboto because he's just a cool robot. Never been a big He-Man dude. My knowledge is pretty limited. I actually probably know more about She-Ra than I do He-Man because my sister used to watch it as a kid on YTV. So I did like Orko though. Always kind of reminded me of the Blue Mage from Final Fantasy, and I know he predates the Blue Mage, but excuse me, the Black Mage, but still cool. Ashnod, Bucky, Cap, Buck for life. I must have missed a conversation somewhere. Uh, oh yeah, Cringe McCringle's gonna have a booth. He's gonna have a booth selling some stuff. So check him out. Cringe McCringle is an American, so he'll have some cool, unique stuff at his table that you would not normally see as a Canadian buyer. So check him out. Lizard Sphere X. Lego is nothing but well, Lego likes to brag when they do a new tooling after 10 years, you know? Um, what was it? I remember when they did the Simpsons minifigs, and I only know this because the lady upstairs is obsessed with Lego. Um, when they did the Simpsons minifigs, they were like, "Do you know how much we had to invest into making all those new head sculpts?" And I'm like, for Transformers, that's Tuesday, But them, they're like, "Oh, we had to make new heads for all the Simpsons." Oh, boo hoo. It's like, come on, man. Like they make a new piece, and it's like some kind of celebration. But then again, she's the Lego person. Me, it's like, I buy this and that. I'm very picky with Lego. It's not my jam. If I'm going to build something, it's going to be a model kit. I'm more of a model kit guy. T-Formers 2002, yeah, going to be selling stuff with. Oh, T-Formers is going to be with them. Okay, cool. So it's the double Americana power. Cringe. I won't. Cringe. I won't bring as much as I want because of the border, but Chicago, there will be a ton of stuff. Well, very cool then. Then we are good. Then we are good. Then at least Chicago will be up on the up. Ashnod, the Bucky Cap body Buck is the default medium body for most of the male Marvel Legends. Ah, okay. I didn't know that it came from Cap's body. Okay. I just knew like it's like I'm just trying to think of like, you know, what else it could have been on that's like generic. But you're right. I guess, a Cap body's pretty basic if you just keep the veneering detail off of it. Or like probably a better example, Silver Surfer, just no detail, naked body, you know. Because I know like I don't buy a lot of Marvel Legends, but I buy this and that. Like, X-Men animated series stuff. Some of my favorite characters like Silver Sable or the Odd Wolverine or Iron Fist or Ultimates Captain America. Like I'll buy this and that. And I notice right away, oh yeah, very similar bodies that are just repainted and stuff and it's different accessories. Um but yeah. Oh my god, we're almost done? Did we just fly through an hour like 2 hours like nothing? Okay, well we got still a lot to cover then. Darn. Okay, so TFcon next week. All right. So next Saturday there will be no live stream. Um, Sunday we might do a live stream, but it'll be late Sunday. I don't know what time, but late Sunday we'll try to do some kind of live stream. So there will be no live stream Saturday, and Aaron can't cover for me because he's going to be there too. I'll try to get Aaron on the live stream with me, so you'll have the both of us together. I apologize. It's just how it is. I know you don't want to see us, but it is what it is. Um, so next week we have TFCon. There will be segments Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'll try to have a segment out for Thursday. There will be no Friday segment for the podcast, but you will have Sunday. We'll do something. So just to give you guys a warning up front, in case you're wondering, hey, Protoman didn't do a segment on Thursday or Friday. Hope he's okay. It's TFCon weekend, so there's going to be that. Again, if you will be at TFCon weekend, just to reiterate, we have the reprint Got to get to the slides. We have the reprint of the red and blue exclusives 2-pack. That'll be $25 at the table if you want that one. Limited run of those, one per person, please. I made these just for the people who weren't able to get to the USA shows that really wanted them when they saw them. So again, check that out. That'll be 25, and the exclusive 100% to TFcon is the yellow bee, and that will be $15. I believe I made 50 of those, so those are going to be available. And again, please be reasonable with that one. I will allow 2 per person, but don't go crazy. Okay, because I want to make sure that everyone could get them. And check that out. And again, if you are a patron of the podcast or of 2 months or more and will be at the show with a purchase of Yellow Bee, you also get Gold Bug with his. I could kind of show his face there. The Gold Bug exclusive. So there's that one too. So you get that one too with a purchase of Yellow Bee if you are a patron of 2 months or more, as a extra thank you for your love and support for the podcast. Good price, free. Free is a good price. Not many F words that are 4 letters are good. That's a good one. So we will see. We will see. Will Murphy, if the parts party's Friday, what's going on Saturday? Well, again, so Friday is charity auction. I don't think I'm going to be doing a parts party. I'm 50-50 on that right now. I'll see how I feel when the time comes. If not, I'll just be in the lobby. I'll be down in the lobby, and maybe I'll bring some stuff with me or something. Saturday, I'm going to be parts party hopping with the rest of you, I guess, because if I'm not doing a parts party, I'll be parts party hopping then. That's what I'll be doing with a wad of cash. If there's cool stuff, I don't know. We'll see. At the USA shows, I can't do parts parties, so I always do parts party hopping. And I found some cool stuff last time, so hopefully there will be some good parts parties happening. But that's it, more or less. Is there any other questions before we call it a night? Any other super chats? Any other questions? Who is going to be at TFcon? I'm curious. Who's going to be at TFcon chilling out at Toronto? Hope to see some fresh faces, because TFcon Toronto is usually it's kind of more of the same faces every year. The USA shows, because they move around, you kind of get to see fresh faces all the time. But we will see. We will see who shows up this time around. What's for dinner, Proto? Steak. We bought 2 steaks. We didn't make them yet. I was thinking of, and they're old. Like, I bought them on discount. Older steaks, so I have to eat them tonight. They're peppered steaks, sirloin, and we're gonna put cut up garlic on it with a little bit of butter. Mix it all in there, make it delicious, and probably potatoes on the side. We'll keep it simple. And tomorrow, I don't know. What are we gonna have tomorrow? What are we gonna have tomorrow? I don't know. We didn't plan anything yet for tomorrow, but it's gonna be steak for sure tonight. Got it 30% off at Loblaws if you're Canadian. So Big M will be at Chicago. Cool. I'm gonna try to be I'm like 99% gonna be at Chicago. So nothing has changed at this point. Rudy Mack, I want to buy a 3rd Megatron again at TFCon. You're talking about the Genesis one? I don't know if I have any of those left. I think I have one left, and I think that one left is more for like if like someone who was a patron didn't get one or something. I always have like one extra just in case, or if like a TFCon staff couldn't get it. I know that the Nintendo one, there's someone on staff that wants one, and I still have one left aside for him, and he still hasn't picked it up yet, so that's kind of floating. The Optiness that I made like 2 years ago. Will Murphy will be there. That's awesome. Um, let's see. But yeah, the gun. The gun. Oh, not the Genesis. The Genesis. The Mega Drive. The Mega Drive Megatron. Uh, but yeah. Horned Owl. Oh, we also be going to Chicago. The convention center is 20-minute drive. Well then, lucky you. Even people realize that even though I'm Canadian, even though TFcon is in Canada next week, it's still a 6-hour drive for me. So it doesn't make a difference. Yeah. So yeah, hey man, Horned Owl, lucky you, brother. And TFcon comes back to Chicago a lot, so it won't be the last for you. Let's put it that way. Won't be the first, won't be the last. Chicago's always a popular hub, so to speak. And you got the Chicago Bulls stuff going on there. I always love passing through Chicago Airport because they have this cool statue of the Chicago Bulls bull there, and I always take a selfie with it. Love that guy. Love that guy. Let me pull him up on the phone for people that don't know what I'm talking about. When you go to Chicago O'Hara Airport, let me just pull him up before we go. Will you be there Thursday night or early Friday? The belief thus far is I might be there Thursday. It's not 100% yet, but I might be there Thursday. So definitely not Wednesday. And if it is Wednesday, it'll be much later. But gosh, how far back did I go to Chicago? Chicago Bulls. Chicago Bulls. Chicago. I'm not even gonna find it. I took way too many pictures. That's the problem. Way too many photos. I'm just like side scrolling. Okay. Nah, I'm not gonna find it. Anyways, riveting content for you guys. I apologize. Mississauga traffic. Yeah, no, I can't even imagine. Horned Owl also be at Chicago. Okay, Horned Owl I read. But yeah, this isn't my first TFcon. No, I know. I've seen you before, brother. But that's why it's not going to be your first. It's definitely not going to be your last. Like Chicago, we always hit that up multiple times. But Thursday I'll be there. I don't know just when I'll be there. You know, I just don't know when I'll be there. And the last one I will address, just for the basketball reasons, the jump man, Jordan. Um, his airness, because it's not a super chat or a YouTube member. I like LeBron's shoes. I don't like LeBron James. I think LeBron James makes a good shoe. I think some of his shoes are very nice with Nike, but I am not a fan of LeBron James. So if you see me wearing LeBron James shoes, and they make nice shoes, doesn't mean I like LeBron James. I think Michael will forever be the GOAT, and of course Larry Bird and Kobe. And yeah, I think we will call it that. I'll be Wilmer. I'll be at TFcon Saturday night with will few Megatron blasters for sale. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. There you go. I understand now. So that's it, more or less. We are done for the evening. Again, thank you for all the love and support. Again, if you want to keep supporting the podcast, again, check out that Patreon link down there below. Come join the Patreon. Gives you access to the Discord. Gives you access to deals and sales that we're constantly updating. We have a sales section. We have a buy and sell trade section amongst each other too, so you can get cool deals from among the fans. So we have a lot of that stuff. Again, if you're part of the patronage, when time passes, you end up becoming a special patron. You can get all kinds of free stuff that we give back. We don't just forget you guys. We also give back to the community, and we stuff for also I want to address for the patrons that can't come to TFcon Toronto. We will give you guys an opportunity to pick up Yellow Bee after the fact. Just wait until after TFcon. I would say Monday, not even Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Contact me over Patreon and let me know if you are interested in Yellow Bee. We will work something out so you could get one. Even if you can't make it to the show, again, I always want to give my patrons an opportunity to still get the exclusives, even if they can't be present. So that's another little bonus I want to give too. But again, thank you for all the love and support. Thank you to the sponsors, Symbiote Studios, which I'll be seeing in San Diego soon, Hasbro, who I'll be seeing in San Diego soon, Aaron Archer, who I'll be seeing next week, squeezing his side, and all the other loveliness and all the other cool people. Joseph, what's up? I'll be seeing you soon too. You know, so take care, guys. Take care of your family, your friends, your loved ones. It's a beautiful world out there with a lot of cool stuff. How could you be angry? I have friends on Facebook that all they do is just complain about politics and all this stuff every week of their life. What a miserable existence. It might be a while, but just give it a couple years and then you'll be complaining about someone else. YouTube members also get that opportunity, but it's tougher for YouTube members to contact me. So you have to have Instagram or Twitter. I want YouTube, please, if you're listening, I constantly, whenever they ask like us YouTube partners, they're like, hey, do you have any requests? I want a private messaging system for my YouTube members because I don't understand this. Yes, Wendell's going to be there. Don't worry. Wendell will be at the con. Jaws D will be there too. Don't worry. Jaws D hasn't missed a TFcon in like since the COVID days. That's about it. That's the only one he missed, and I missed that one too. But yeah, YouTube members also, but it's more just you have to find a way to contact me because you have to have Instagram, you have to have Facebook, not Facebook, Twitter, and sometimes people don't have those for whatever reason. So, but the opportunity, and you have to be a member for more than 2 months. That's the other thing too. So you can't just like join YouTube membership and then get the exclusives. It's 2-month minimum because I did in the past where I was giving it away to Patreon and YouTube members and people joined, got the exclusive and then quit. So no more of that. Those are people I ban. They're not doing it for the love of helping out the podcast. They're just doing it to help themselves. So no, thank you. And then that's one less that could have gone to someone that's actually, a good person. But yeah, Jaws D will be there, Ninjatron. Jaws D will be there. Is Goober going to be there? Goober hasn't said anything yet. So hopefully Goober will be there too. We'll have the whole gang back together. It'll be awesome. It'll be a good weekend. But take care, guys. I'm out of here. Thank you for all the love and support. Again, join the Patreon if you can. Thank you. Thank you for all the super chats from everybody, especially Twins Corner, SP Gojira fan, and all the other crew and Mayor Fabrication. We're out of here. And as always, like I said, roll out. I'll see you Sunday.